Mitchell, you know him, you love him, your rabbi, Rabbi Mitchell Wohlberg!
Let me start by teaching all of you a Yiddish expression that I feel I'm living right now. Mir darf sein ne sugar. Okay? Oh, I take it you're familiar with that expression. But we're thrilled. We're really thrilled to be doing this. I want you to know. Rosh Hashanah is coming. Everybody knows what Rosh Hashanah means. Rosh, the head, Shana of the year, the start of a new year. The word Shana is very interesting because it has several other meanings, two of which are contradictory. Shana can also mean to change, and Shana can also mean to repeat. And in some ways, every new year should have elements of both. Elements of change and elements of the tradition. And at Beth Tfiloh, we really do try and combine both. And that's what we're doing tonight. Every year we have a program to discuss the high holidays. But this year we wanted to try something different. And it was really the brainchild of our newest rabbi, Rabbi Jonathan Gross, who came to us from Omaha, Nebraska. And you should know there in his shul every Shabbos, he had a program, Good Shabbos Nebraska, which was raved and written about, and he spurred us on to try and do something different for tonight, and that's what we're doing. To give it a professional touch, we asked Richard Sher to join us this evening. Richard and I, well, we'll tell you more about our relationship. Richard has been a well-known celebrity here in Baltimore for 40 years now. He's an award-winning TV newscaster. You all know him from Square Off. You may not know that Square Off has been on for 27 years. The longest public program on local TV. It's on WMAR Channel 2 at 11 o'clock on Sundays. And this Sunday, I will be one of the panelists who's going to be squaring off. Richard is also well known because he had a sidekick named Oprah Winfrey. Now, nobody really knows whatever happened to her, but it seems that things were successful, and Richard and Oprah have stayed friends. We benefited from that friendship. It was a couple of years ago at Spotlight. We had Oprah Winfrey, and she came because of Richard, and we raised over $1 million that year at Spotlight. And Richard recently received an Emmy Award in Washington that was presented to him by Oprah Winfrey. Now, that speaks volumes about Richard professionally. Personally, I just want to tell you, 2 years ago when I was ill, there was nobody who was more devoted to me outside of my family than Richard. And for that, I am grateful. And for that, I am very happy to share this evening with the city renowned
Take your seats. Take your seats, everyone. Orioles 3-1, top of the second inning. Really? Hi, everybody. Welcome to Beth to BT Live.
BT Live.
And it's great to be with you, Mitchell. We're looking forward to. Mitchell's one of our most popular guests on Square Off. How many of you have ever seen Mitchell on the program? Raise your hand. That's good. You'll get reductions in your fees here today.
You should know.
He's also going to marry me at some point.
You should know, many times when I'm visiting people in Hopkins or in the hospital or walking the streets of Baltimore, somebody will stop me and say, "Ain't you the Jew from Square Off?"
That is true.
You put me on the map, Richard.
And you'll be on this Sunday, 11 o'clock on ABC2. We'll be talking about things like, can Ray Rice be forgiven? Because a lot of these football players are pretty bad guys. And talk about ISIL and ISIS and this war we're going to be in soon. A lot of other topics. Leonard and Sue are here, so we know the show's going to be fabulous. We have a lot of guests and a lot of fun in this 30-minute program that we're sure you'll enjoy. Now we have a very special first guest. He puts music and lifts us with his songs. Who is this, Mitchell?
I'm not sure.
Well, he's a terrific guy, and we've known him for a long time. We did that program with him. What was it for, the charity? What was the charity?
Meir Panim.
Yeah, we raised a lot of money
for it. And it's still a worthwhile cause and very needy. And before Rosh Hashanah, if you have an extra check, that's a good place to send it. Meir Panim, to help feed the poor in Israel.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Hazzan of Beth Tfiloh congregation, please put your hands together for Avi Albrecht. Who's that on the record? Very good. Who is that?
If you don't know, it doesn't pay anymore.
No, I do. It's funny. Listen, tell everybody out in the viewing audience and in our live audience how long you've been with Beth Tfiloh and how you feel about your job here, your position. and the pay, sir.
I forgot, what was it first question?
How long have you been the wonderful Hazzan here?
I am here 19 years. It's going to be my 19 years. 19, not 90. 19. Baruch Hashem. And I think it's like brand new. Every time, every day, it's new for me. And especially now that we're coming close to the high holidays, Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, I want everyone to know that I learned a lot from my mentor, Rabbi Wohlberg, that last Yom Kippur, when it finished, the day after Yom Kippur, I already started thinking about this Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and Slichot.
I know for a fact this is true. You know, people sometimes ask me, when do I start thinking about my high holiday sermons? And the truth is, when I finish my sermon on Yizkor and I sit down, what am I going to talk about next year? And I remember last year, during Mincha on Yom Kippur, you were already talking to me of the changes you were going to make in the service. People have no idea how much time and effort goes in, you know, people, what does a rabbi do all week? What does a chazan do? I'm not sure what a chazan does, but be that as it may.
He sits there, he goes to lunch.
No. The choir comes from New York, and every week for months, the chazan goes into New York to practice with them, to prepare them, to teach them the new music.
We actually have two choirs. We have a choir for Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, and another choir for Slichot, which will be this Saturday night. And both of them require work and to make it, you know, very professional. That's why we have the people come. And this year, B'ezrat Hashem, Slichot, for example, we are anticipate twice as much as people as last year.
Really?
Because of the success.
What kinds of songs will you be singing? Give us a little sample, pre-high holy day.
Okay, so we have, for example, Lishmoa el Arina ve'el Tfilah.
Okay.
To listen to the song and to the prayers. So I wrote, when I came to Beth Tfiloh, I said, I looked at the audience, I met beautiful people at the beginning, and it really innovated me to write a special song, Lishmoa el Arina. And I'm sure many people in the audience know the melody. If you know, please join me. Don't just sit quietly. Lishmoa el Arina, el Arina, el Arina ve'el Tfilah. Lishmoa el Arina, el Arina, el Arina ve'el Tfilah. Good.
Very good.
Thank you.
That's right, kiddo.
You see, in the past, I just want to demonstrate a short thing. In the past, this particular verse, Lishmoa El Arina, was done, and still by some cantors, in a very slow tempo.
I like the upbeat.
May I demonstrate for you?
You may demonstrate anything.
Thank you. So it went like this. So by the time I came to this phrase, I look out. Half of the people are asleep. So I decided, Lishmoa El Arina, El Arina, El Arina, Lishmoa El Arina, El Arina, El Arina,
Excellent. One more.
I know that you would like to hear more,
But you'll have to wait for Erev Rosh Hashanah.
Yom Kippur.
Oh. All right, so I was just testing you. I know it was Yom Kippur. But thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Great to see you. Good to see you. Cantor, Hazzan Albrecht.
We have a guest that's coming to us for Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur this year. He was with us last year, and we loved having him back because he really is part of the family. And that's Rabbi Elan Adler. We were going to fly him in for the evening, but either he was going to get paid or I was going to get paid. So he's still in Israel, but we do have a few words from him.
But I do want to say this about Rabbi Adler, if I may.
Yes.
You're the rabbi. And that is that I did a story on him.
And that was my pacemaker.
Yeah. Rabbi Adler, as you know, competed in the funniest rabbi in the country contest, and I did some stories on him. He did this Jackie Mason imitations and so forth and so on. He might do this here. But when he left, he took over for Rabbi Max, who's no longer with us, over at, what's it called, Montefiore, what?
Liberty Jewish Center.
The Liberty Jewish Center. And I was at his wedding, here, and you did his wedding. And I asked him, I said, Rabbi Adler, how many people do you have in your congregation? He said, we sleep 900. Rabbi Elan Adler.
Yeah, right. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I was at Beth Tfiloh last year. I can't believe they rehired me to come again. Oh, you should have told me.
Hi, this is Richard Sher. Welcome to Everyone is Squaring Off.
Richard, how you doing? So, Elan Adler, it's so nice to be with you on this beautiful evening. You're having a wonderful program, I think, at Beth Tfiloh tonight. And I just wanted to add a couple of words for myself. I want to be honest with you and tell you I haven't changed out of this outfit since last Yom Kippur. Can you believe that? It's been an entire year. I've been so excited, anticipating coming to Beth Tfiloh that I have not changed this entire outfit for an entire year. I'll be honest with you, it hasn't been really good for friendships. The guy in the paddy wagon, we got together along pretty well. And there's a couple of people in the closed ward, if you know what I'm saying, that I've been getting very friendly with. But other than that, this is pretty much the way it really worked well, by the way, for Purim. It was a ready-made outfit. Dear friends,
My dear friends at Beth Tfiloh, including the Cantor Avi Albrecht.
it used to be Albrecht, and well, whatever. I want to tell you how excited I am to think of coming to Beth Tfiloh again in just another few days. Looking forward to seeing all my friends in the synagogue and all my friends, of course, in the auditorium. Even if you're not going to be davening in the auditorium, please come over and say hello. I'll be out in the hallway selling Ahava products, and we'll all be having a great time. Looking forward to seeing all of you. Have a great evening tonight, and it's just another few days before Rosh Hashanah. And by the way, if you think that I'm excited about coming, you're darn tootin'.
Rabbi Elan Adler. All right, so we want to bring on the seating committee. Please welcome them. Find out what they're all about. How do you do? Mitchell.
This shows you why you need a seating committee.
Just 2 seats.
We need another chair, Rabbi. Sorry.
Thank you.
What are the challenges that you, when do you start?
Really start in June, usually, to get the letters out, or even before sometimes. And it's after Pesach is really when we start. And one of the challenges involved that I found was that we try to keep families together. Usually they want to sit together, but sometimes they don't. They want to sit apart. And we have to just know when to do that.
If someone cancels, like at the end, we can't put a stranger in the middle of a family. So now we have to move the seats to get the family together, so to make that work right.
Boy, this is fascinating. Go on.
When I first started working on the seating committee, we had no computer. This was all done by index cards. Every person had a card, and it had their seat number on it. And we used to shuffle the cards back and forth to keep everybody happy. And when it came time for Beth Jacob and the new configuration in the sanctuary, we had to make sure that the daughter-in-law sat next to her mother and her mother-in-law, and the names were different. So that was one of the challenges. And you have some, as Marcia said, some people do not want to sit next to certain people.
And do you get calls? Do they call and tell you that?
Oh, yes, we do.
Let me ask you something. Am I just sensing this, or is this factual? When I started as rabbi here at Beth Tfiloh, you had 2 and 3 generations sitting together of a family. I don't sense that as much as I used to. What is the actual experience there?
Some of them have passed away.
That could be a problem.
And those who pass away don't buy tickets?
They get a special price.
But they get a special price.
Let's thank our seating committee, ladies and gentlemen.
One of the things that the congregation can do to help us better our job is to send your seating sheets in on time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll be back after this word from Hazzan Albrecht. Originally from New Jersey, he received his ordination from Yeshiva University in New York City. He spent the last 10 years as the head rabbi of Beth Israel Synagogue in Omaha, Nebraska. Please welcome Rabbi Jonathan Gross.
At this point, our other rabbi needs no introduction. He's really become beloved here at Beth Tfiloh. Rabbi Chai Posner is originally from Brooklyn, New York. He's now in his 5th year as rabbi at Beth Tfiloh. And he originally received his rabbinic ordination from Yeshiva Chovei Torah. And he has really endeared himself to everyone here at Beth Tfiloh and has become very, very much a part of this congregation. And we're happy to welcome Rabbi Chai.
All right. So a couple of topics that are in the news. I don't know how many of you saw this.
Richard, can I say something?
I'm surprised, yeah.
I was standing backstage and hearing the jokes and the laughter and how much good time everyone was having, especially some of the jokes coming from you. And I just pictured my rabbis and my teachers who taught me the values of Judaism, the seriousness of the Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur season, and I picture the pride that they have in seeing me here. I've made it on Square Off with Richard Sher.
Congratulations. All right, so we're going to do a few...
And I just want to say...
Okay.
Is this mic working?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, it is.
No, I just want to say, Richard, thank you so much for doing this, everybody. Very good. Talmud says that whenever the great rabbis of the Talmud this is true, when they would teach Torah, they would start off with a joke. It's absolutely true. So we were very, very strict on that custom
So,
now. And now we're going into the serious component of the show.
Well,
So
let me
thank
tell you about
for
Mr.
that.
Schwartz. Mr. Schwartz goes in for his 90th birthday physical. Doctor tells him, Mr. Schwartz, your heart, your lab tests, everything is perfect. You're going to live to be 110. Mr. Schwartz says, thank you, doctor. And on the way out, he drops dead at the door. The nurse runs in and says, doctor, doctor, doctor. Mr. Schwartz, you told him he was going to live to 100. He dropped dead at the door. He says, turn him around and make it look like he was coming in.
True story.
All right. I don't know how many of you saw the video of the city police officer just sucker punching this poor guy. You saw that, right? That'll be one of the topics we're going to discuss. But with so much violence at home and around the world, with ISIS beheading innocents, young children being murdered by their parents, if God allows these atrocities, why do so many question the existence of God when these terrible things happen? Go ahead.
The answer of what we do not do is that we do not, as in Judaism, say that, well, this is the will of God. That is not in our belief system at all. In fact, in a couple of weeks, we're going to read Parshat Vayera, where God tells Abraham, he says, I'm going to destroy the city of Sodom. They're evil. It would have been very easy for Abraham to sit back and say, well, it's the will of God. What are you going to do? But Abraham contends with God, and he says, how dare you, God, the one who claims to be the judge, the justice minister of the world, how dare you not do justice? And Abraham, even against the word of God, he contended with it, and that's the model for Judaism.
All right, let me say this. Try not to be rabbis right now. So be more brief in your answers. Quick answer, then we'll hear from the rabbi.
Sure. Richard, I go back and forth on this. I really do. In the Rosh Hashanah liturgy, in the Yom Kippur liturgy, it's right there. We do say that these things are ordained by God. Who's going to live and who's going to die? Who's going to have peace? Who's not going to have peace?
Who's going to be beheaded? Who's going to be shot and killed?
We basically do say that in the service.
I know that. I know that part.
Yeah. So we have that piece of it, that God really ordains that this will happen.
I don't picture God involved in this. I really don't. I think that that's the whole message of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, that we are responsible for our actions and we have to answer for it. A basic difference between Judaism and Christianity. Christianity believes that a human being is born in sin and is fallible from the start. Judaism believes that we're born with a clean soul, and if it's going to be sullied, God's not doing that, we're doing that, and we have to be responsible for it.
But you know, if you have 400 people, and this did happen, killed in a plane crash, a gigantic jumbo jet years ago, in the rubble, among the dead bodies, the body parts, they found this child, and they said this was a miracle. But what about the other 399 who died and perished in that crash? What's the miracle about that? Gotcha. All right.
Richard, I ask this question every time I go to Hopkins or wherever, and I go to the children's ward, and there are 2-year-olds and 5-year-olds with cancer. And I mean, I don't understand that. So I don't understand everything that happens in this world. I don't understand everything that God does or doesn't do. I just can be held responsible for what I do or do not do.
All right, let me talk about there's a tradition now, particularly among the Orthodox Jewish people, but in these modern times, would there be some consideration? I know, talking to some of the members of this congregation, that they wouldn't mind if the husbands and wives and families could all sit together during these wonderful holidays.
Who said?
None of your business. Then you went out and spent all that money on the machit. Is that what it is? Machit? What is it?
Macarena.
Oh.
Mechitza.
Would any of you care to sit with your loved ones? Anybody in here? Nobody. All right.
Well, Richard, there are options, and I think that.
What are the options?
There are other synagogues that don't have a mechitza. There are, but I think that the Jews have really voted with their feet. And if you go around on a regular Saturday and you look at which synagogues are filling up and which ones are mostly empty, except for the high holidays, and even now, increasingly on the high holidays, the ones with the mechitza have really won out.
How are we going to deal with the rise in anti-Semitism in the world?
I'm actually going to be discussing that on Rosh Hashanah.
I know that.
You knew that. I send my sermons out to 100 rabbis also.
Mitchell sends his out to 100,000. But go on.
It depends on who you're giving the message to. I think giving a message to, an individual person who lives their life, they do what they can, not someone who's a major player, someone who's in the community. I think it's about the responsibility that we take on to educate the next generation, to educate the children. We try to do that in the school here, to make sure that the next generation has answers for these questions, the next generation understands what's going on, the next generation understands that there's anti-Semitism in the world. In this past year, we really saw it rear its ugly head in response to the necessary actions that Israel took in Gaza.
Why do so many people hate the Jews?
I'm going to be talking about that, Kol Nidre.
I know that also.
Richard, there is a survey by the Anti-Defamation League. There's 1 billion people in this world who have anti-Semitic beliefs. 40% of them never met a Jew. So it has nothing to do with our behavior. It's ingrained in the societies in which these people have been nurtured from generation to generation. And I'm not too sure there's much we can do about that. But what we should at least do is make sure that if we can't count on them, we can count on us.
I mean, the question of why do people hate Jews has been asked for a long time. It seems that it's a millennial question. And I think that it's really, there's so many answers, but like Rabbi Wohlberg said, what's our response to anti-Semitism? And how do we become prepared for that? And as Rabbi Posner said, what's the next generation going to do? Because I do have a feeling that the next generation is going to experience it more than ours did.
All right, here's what we're going to do as in our close. I'm going to throw out a topic, and you do a 1-minute sermon on how you feel about this topic. Okay, you don't have to participate in it, but you ready? Number 1, Ray Rice is appealing his being indefinitely suspended from the NFL. Some people think he got a raw deal when you look at Adrian Peterson beating his kid up with it, and 54 other NFL players who are in trouble. Ray was suspended for 2 games, as you know, and then they saw the other tape, and he got thrown out of the league indefinitely and thrown off the Ravens. This is your topic. Can Ray Rice should he be reinstated with consideration?
If I were speaking about Ray Rice for the high holiday season, I would speak about it on Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is the holiday where we ask this question. We all do things wrong, we all make mistakes. When we do our time, which he hasn't done yet, when we do our time, when we truly repent for it, when we fix and mend our ways, we believe that we receive forgiveness for this. But, specifically, Yom Kippur is a holiday. When we talk about forgiveness, we talk about forgiveness that comes for things we did between us and God.
30 seconds.
For things between us and our fellow, we need to reach out. We need to take the steps that are necessary to truly receive that repentance and that forgiveness. So if we see him do that, if we see him undergo a process where he truly has become mended, then he can be let back in. Why not?
All right. Stars.
But if that's you're asking me about as far as what he did wrong, as far as his ability to play football, that has kind of gone downhill anyways.
Oh, well, he did have to practice. That is true. That's very, very true. But you know, you're looking at other athletes like Tiger Woods, who got himself into trouble. Michael Vick served 18 months for the dog fighting ring. So, all right, next Rabbi John, you ready?
Sure.
Star Spangled Celebration this past weekend was fabulous. 200th anniversary of Francis Scott Key writing the Star Spangled Banner. This is the land of the free and the home of the brave. Is it?
So
I didn't ask you folks. I'm talking, no, it is. Is this, that's what your topic is. Home of the brave, land of the free.
So off the cuff, just the idea of it, first of all, being the 200th anniversary of Francis Scott Key. I mean, the idea of a song being written in extraordinary circumstances 200 years ago and still having resonance to this very day is something that, of course, is relevant on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. When we look at the Tfilot that Hazzan Albrecht is going to sing, and we think about the history, the prayers that we're going to sing in our Machzor span over 1,000 years, and they were written over all kinds of different circumstances. And as Jews, we look at them at every time in history, and there's relevance to them. So in terms of how it's still relevant to America, I unequivocally believe, of course, this is still the land of the free, and the Star Spangled Banner has as much relevance as the Machzor does, which means, yes, very, very relevant in our lives today, even 200 years or even 2,000 years
Very
later.
good. Now, finally, and this will be a topic coming up on Sunday's Square Off. America now is at war with against the Islamic State, ISIL or ISIS. Do you fear that they will eventually attack the United States? Today, they said that if the U.S. continues to bomb, that they will definitely strike here in the homeland. What are your thoughts about that?
Someone every day is trying to attack us. Today it's ISIS, but to me the names have almost become interchangeable. There's Muslim fundamentalism that's run amok in this world, and I don't think the free world has taken full responsibility to combating this, perhaps because of political correctness or whatever. But we have a very serious problem, and the land of the free and the home of the brave is a remarkable country, the most remarkable country on earth. And I do feel that we have a responsibility as the United States of America to be at the forefront of combating a threat not just to us, a threat to the world as we understand it in the 21st century.
Thank you very much. Now, this is Greg. You can clap for the rabbis. Give the rabbis a round of applause. Get those sounds up. So this is our first broadcast on WBTC, the Baltimore Beth Tfiloh Congregation channel, the Wohlberg Network, of course. And before we go, we want to thank everyone out in our viewing audience because you're going to show this to, how many people do you think will see this? Including Sherry, that makes two?
No, Sherry won't watch.
Oh, that makes one.
Within 24 hours, we hope to have this on our website, and we're also going to put it out on YouTube.
Good idea.
Just as a way of getting people more interested in the high holidays that are coming. But I think it's very, very important for you to understand, we've spoken about what we've all done in preparation for the high holidays. What have you done? And that's really what it's all about. All of our preparations and programs like this are all meant to evoke a certain feeling within you that when Rosh Hashanah comes, it has a meaning and it has a purpose, and it gives you reason to pause and ask yourselves important questions about your lives and the lives of your families. We take these things for granted throughout the year, but there does come a time, and Judaism provides us with those times, where we have what we call cheshbon hanefesh, where we look inside of ourselves. And that's really what we want you to do on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. We don't want you to look at the Hazzan. We don't want you to listen to the rabbi. We want you to turn inside yourselves and ask yourselves, what could you be doing better and what could you be doing different? And every year, you can change yourself. You can't change yourself completely. That's impossible. But you can change one aspect of your existence that can have such a profound effect, not only on you, but your whole family. And you all ought to search for that one thing and do something about it. And if a program like this gets you thinking about Rosh Hashanah a week or two before Rosh Hashanah, then it served a very positive purpose. And Mitchell, we really thank you.
My pleasure. Rabbis Posner, Gross, Wohlberg, for all of us here at Beth Tfiloh, I'm Richard Sher. Have a good holiday.